Welcome to the sessions. So today we will have working with public clouds, hibernating and elastic compute cloud instances. So my name is Mr. Vinayak Pottigar. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology, Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. So at the end of the session, the students will be able to understand the prerequisite for hibernating an EC2 instance, and I'll demonstrate how to enable EC2 instance for hibernation. So take the overview of what exactly hibernation means. So if you consider any particular machine, if it is running, okay, and you switch it off a particular button, okay, and if when you turn it on, okay, so the machine will start from where it left off, okay, exactly. So in this particular process, we have a running EC2 instance where all the applications are available. We have attached a particular RAM size, and we have also attached the particular encrypted. This particular keyword is very much necessary. That is, your EBS volumes needs to be available in an encrypted form. So such a particular instance, when you ask it to stop in a hibernation mode, so what exactly happens? Like the RAM, the contents, like the state of your machine is preserved into your EBS volume in an encrypted form, and the machine gets shut down. Now it gets stopped where your EBS volume acquires all the state of your machine, and from there, if you start that particular machine, okay, you start that particular machine, so exactly that machine will start from where it left off. Okay, exactly. So this is an hibernation process. So there are prerequisites needs to be made it understand how you can make it your EC2 instances available for hibernation. So following 10 points are crucial. Like you need to take care about which particular Linux AMIs you need to use, supported instance families you need to use. What about the instance size? See, what about the RAM size max you can use for hibernation? What about the root volume type you need to have? EBS volume, root volume sizes, the supported EBS volume types, later on the EBS room volume encryption, whether you are encrypted this or not. So enabled hibernation at a particular launch, and the last one is which purchasing option you have opted for. So let's see all of this in one by one. So if I am talking about supported Linux AMIs, so these are the list of AMIs which supports hibernation. You can go through this where I have two hypervisors. One is a Zen and second is a Nitro. These are comes in supported families. If you talk about supported instance families, so from Zen we have C3, C4, the list is used, you can take on this. And from Nitro we have C5, C5D and rest of these. These are supported instance families which is allowed for hibernating an EC2 instance. The next is instance size. So you cannot use the bare metal instances for hibernation. So except this bare metal instances, all are valid. We go across the particular RAM size. So the RAM size which you opted for must be less than 150 GB. Okay, and this criteria must meet. Next is your root volume type. Root volume type must be an elastic block storage. You cannot opt it for instant store volumes. The last one is EBS root volume size. So as I am saying, it must be large enough to store the RAM contents and accommodate your expected usage. Like this figure, if you talk about, the content of your RAM is deported on your EBS volume, right? So EBS volume must have the greater size as compared to your RAM, and RAM capacity as maxed is 150 GB it supports. What about the rest? So these are EBS volume types like general purpose SSD with GP2 and GP3 are valid. Provisional IOPS SSDs with IO1 and IoT are valid. enabling hibernation at a particular launch. You must understand, not any running instance or a stopped instance you enable hibernation. So hibernation can be enabled at the launch. The purchasing option, if you talk about the last category, which is spot instances are not valid for your hibernating the particular EC2 instance. Now there are few limitations if we want to put the particular EC2 instance on a hibernation. So the first one is, when you hibernate an instance, the data on any instance store volume is lost. First condition. Second is, you cannot hibernate an instance that has more than 150 GB of RAM size. And the third, you cannot change the instance type or a size of an instance when hibernation is enabled. And the last one is, we do not opt or support keeping an instance hibernating for more than 60 days. Now, if all these conditions are met, it is possibly your EC2 instance are enabled with your hibernation capabilities. Now let's check the time to demonstrate how you can activate the hibernating modes for your EC2 instance. So we will shift this to a particular AWS account. So I am working in particular Asia Pacific Mumbai, where I am trying to launch a particular instance. I am writing this as hibernating demo, where I'll select a particular Amazon Linux 2023 AMIs, where instance type which is not supported, which is t2.micro. We will use this particular proceedings with, okay, so I don't need to connect with my particular EC2 right now. And one of the condition, if you checked about there, where these configuration like your 8 GB RAM space which you get needs to be in an encrypted mode. Like if we extend this particular parameter, right now the encryption is this particular volume is not encrypted. We'll see what happens if I launch this particular one instance using this particular capabilities. Okay, and one more thing, if we go across one more particular strategy, as I am saying, when you initiate the particular EC2 instance, see, stopping hibernation needs to be enabled. So we'll make this enable. So I want that particular EC2 instance to be enabled for hibernation mode. So if I am trying to launch that particular instance with this particular support, sooner you will see the instance is launched failed. Is it clear? So what we made a mistakes? So we made a mistakes like the prerequisite we didn't take care of. Okay. Now we'll cancel it and we'll try to launch with one more condition, like I am opting for this as hibernation mode. We'll go across this particular EC2 instance. Okay. Normally we used to use with the T2 macro. We won't require this particular strategies. Okay. So we'll connect with this particular HTTP traffic to go across. We'll just try to launch without this particular hibernation mode enabled. Okay. So for prerequisite, as I am saying, few prerequisites are mandatory. Now without this, if I am trying to launch a particular instance, okay, the instance will be get launched. Okay. And if you check this particular instance, okay, if I refresh this, these are my previous two instances, and this particular instance right now what we have launched for. Okay. So this is in a pending state. Okay. Now this particular instance, if you check what options we have, see, if you see, this instance is already started where this hibernation is not active, right? So this is not how to make it active, the hibernation mode, how to make it active. So for normal process, this hibernation is not active. Now certainly we will launch one more instance, like launching one more instance. okay, with similar categories, but we'll check all the conditions now. So we'll opt for certain T3 family because T2 are not valid for this. So I'll select T3 micro. Here I'm not connecting with, so I'm selecting the key pair. I'm allowing HTTP traffic to go through, and we'll go into the advanced tab of my EBS volume. And now what we do, we extend this, and now we will make this particular volume encrypted, which is a mandatory activity with its keys, default keys. Once this is done, go into the hibernation mode and select your hibernation behavior as enabled. Okay. Now with all these options, I am launching a particular instance. Now if you see, instance gets launched successfully. For this, we require this particular 10 conditions to hold true. Okay. Now once this is available, and if you can check this, this particular, I'll refresh a particular page. Okay. Now this is the newest EC2 instance which we launch, which is, if we go into the number of states, what I can do, if I refresh these particular states as well, and if you just select this instances, sooner or later okay, I'll deselect this. This is the only one which is left. Now if you see, this hibernation instance is enabled, means this EC2 instance is capable of hibernation. It can be stopped in a hibernation mode. Okay, I hope you understood how this hibernation phase can be activated to a particular EC2 instance and how it works. We'll shift now, take a while and answer this question. To take the instance for hibernation, it is required that the instance RAM size must be less than, either it would be 20 GB, 40 GB, 100 GB, or it is 150 GB. So take a pause a while and answer this question. So the correct answer is, answer is D, 150 GB. Thank you.